Good morning. Happy Sabbath. It's good to be in front of you guys this morning to break the word of life with you. Forgive me if I sound a little off because I got sick on Thursday. So I praise God that I'm able to be here this morning and to deliver the word with you guys. Normally, when I speak, I usually have a month's notice to deliver a sermon. In this case, I only had a week. So I had to start hitting the ground running on Monday. And by Wednesday, I still had no topic. So, thankfully, my Bible app always gives me a verse of the day. And when I opened it up Thursday morning, it was on Isaiah 40, verse 31. So I was like, all right, that's my sermon. And the rest is history. But I want us to be very honest this morning, church family. How many of us have hovered over in front of an oven, opening it up, closing it again, opening it up again, seeing if the cookies are done? Raise your hand. Okay, quite a few of us. That's okay. There's no shame here, right? We've all fallen into that trap. Now, why? Because in our modern world, everyone seems to be allergic to waiting. I don't know about you guys, but if my coffee takes more than 3 minutes to brew, I glare at that coffee maker, looking at it as if it's plotting something against me. Or if my Wi-Fi is acting up, I start going to my router and pleading with it, please work, hoping it will boost the signal somehow. Or if I send a message to somebody, or young people, if you guys send messages and they don't respond quickly enough, you think that, did I upset them? Are they ghosting me? Or did their dog eat their phone? I don't know, but our mind goes into overtime. Now, it's not just streets or technology that allows us not to wait, because we live in a world where we get instant gratification. Meaning what? Meaning the results that we get is very fast, right? Where there's no frustration in there. We expect next day shipping. We expect food in minutes. And we expect answers at the touch of a button. When we think of the idea of waiting, even for something good, it feels unnatural and inconvenient. Our patience gets little exercise, and our tolerance for delays is thinner than ever. This impatience is woven into our daily routines. And waiting often feels like torture, no matter how small the things we're longing for. But when we look at the grand scheme of things, beyond the everyday annoyances, impatience can seep into deeper places, such as waiting for a breakthrough at work. We wait for answers to prayer. We pray for healing or pray for hope in hard times. Waiting tests us. It stretches us and reveals how much we rely on speed and control. So what happens when life demands that we wait? When there is no shortcut, when there is no express lane, and there is no instant fixes. What do we do when we're forced to pause, to hope, and to trust in something or someone bigger than ourselves? So that's where this verse comes in, Isaiah 40, verse 31. It invites us to shift our perspective to see wasting as not a wasted time, but as a sacred opportunity for us to renew our strength and discover what patience can truly produce. Waiting on God isn't about sitting back and doing nothing. It's an intentional, active trust. It's like plugging your life into the most powerful, reliable source of energy in the universe. This kind of waiting isn't comparable to passively scrolling on your phone or twiddling your thumbs as you wait for your coffee to brew, but instead, it's a purposeful act of hope, a conscious decision to turn your anxieties, your needs, and your deepest desires over to God, trusting that He is working even when you can't see it. Look back on the Israelites, God's chosen people, who struggled with the idea of waiting. They experienced seasons of exile, uncertainty, and they even questioned if God had forgotten them and if their prayers were falling on deaf ears. Maybe you guys find yourself in a similar situation where you're waiting for a breakthrough or you're longing for healing in your body or your relationships. Maybe that's seeking reconciliation with someone you love or desperately hoping for deliverance from circumstances that seem overwhelming. While you wait, it can be easy to be forgotten, weary, and discouraged. But when we look at Isaiah 40:31, it offers a powerful reminder that God is never idle. While you wait, He is actively renewing your strength, lifting you up, and preparing you for what's next, even if you don't see it. This waiting period is not wasted. Think of it as this: it is a vital season of preparation and transformation. Just as athletes train behind the scenes before a big race, a musician practices before stepping on the stage, waiting on God's time equips you, shapes your character, and positions you for His best. It's during these times of waiting where you can learn patience, where you deepen your faith, and you develop resilience. God is not only restoring what's been lost, He's making you stronger, wiser, and more capable of handling what's ahead. So take a moment to reflect. Where are you in a season of waiting right now? What storm, obstacle, or challenge feels too big to handle on your own? Are you waiting for answers? For direction? Are you hoping for a break in the clouds? But know this: God sees your struggles. He hears your cries. And He is inviting you to exchange your exhaustion, your fear, and your uncertainty for His strength, peace, and confidence. When we read Isaiah 40:31, it lays out three incredible promises for those who choose to trust God during seasons of waiting. He promises renewal, where God doesn't just patch up our weaknesses, He fully exchanges them for His power. Where you feel depleted, God steps in and fills you with a strength you've never thought possible. It's not temporary. It's a deep, lasting transformation that prepares you for whatever lies ahead. Second is elevation. Waiting on God lifts you above your circumstances. Just like eagles soar high above storms, God gives you a new perspective. He enables you to rise above fear, anxiety, and discouragement, giving you clarity and hope even when life feels chaotic. The last one, endurance. God will equip you with the stamina and perseverance to keep going. You'll find yourself running and not grow weary, walking and not fainting. This is the kind of endurance that not only helps you survive difficult seasons, but it also allows you to thrive in the midst of them. So I want you to imagine this, that waiting is a runway, not a holding cell. During this time, God is fueling you, strengthening you, and preparing you for takeoff. He's not asking you to wait because he's forgotten you, but because he's getting you ready for something that is bigger and greater than you can imagine. As you trust him, you'll discover that waiting is not just about getting through a delay. It's about being transformed and empowered for the journey ahead. So I want to take a couple moments to focus on the 3 points I mentioned, which is renewal. Because before we can rise or run, we need to be restored. When we look at the first part of Isaiah 40:31, it says, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength." This promise isn't just about getting a boost beyond. It's not getting a boost about a complete transformation. Now, you can fact check me. I check my sources. Hopefully this is right, but if I get it wrong, I apologize ahead of time. That's a disclaimer. So the Hebrew word chalef goes beyond simply regaining lost strength. It means to exchange, to replace, or to substitute. So picture someone swapping out a worn battery for a brand new, high-powered one. God doesn't just patch up the cracks in our spirit. He gives us something entirely new and far greater than what we had before. When we wait, we're not left to struggle on our own. We are hoping for a small improvement, but instead, God will step in, and he actively trades our weaknesses for his unwavering power. That means if you feel depleted, whether it's physically, emotionally, or spiritually, God isn't just giving you a temporary fix. He's offering his own strength, which is inexhaustible and unshakable. Where fear once paralyzed, his peace settles in. Where doubt clouded your mind, his faith brings clarity and confidence. This exchange is deeply personal and transformative. It's like someone weighed down by anxiety and suddenly finding themselves calm and assured. Or a person overwhelmed by uncertainty, suddenly filled with purpose and direction. God's renewal is not just about surviving challenges, but it's about thriving through them, equipped with his strength and perspective. So think of the word renewal as this. It's God's way of resetting your spiritual operating system. He just doesn't restore you to your previous condition. He upgrades you, preparing you for what's ahead. So, as you wait, whether in seasons of uncertainty or in moments where your own resources run dry, remember this. Waiting on God invites a powerful exchange where you receive his strength for your weakness, his peace for your fear, his faith for your doubt. That's the kind of renewal that can truly change your life. And if that doesn't make sense, I'll try it this way. Imagine this. Your phone is at 1%, and you desperately need it for an important call. You dig through your bag, and you find nothing. No charger, no power bank, nothing. And you start waving your phone up like this, magically hoping from sheer willpower that your battery is going to be recharged. But then, somebody hands you this giant, this cartoonish, chicken-shaped power bank. You laugh, you're skeptical, but what do? You plug it in anyway. At first, nothing happens. You tap on your screen, and you still shake it. Still says 1%. Then you start muttering to yourself, are you even working? But then you start to notice something. The numbers started rising. 5%, 10%, 20%. And then before you know it, your phone is fully charged. But not only that, it has more battery than when you started. You're energized, you feel relieved, and you're ready to face the day. And that's exactly what God does to us. Our spiritual battery may be dead from worry, fear, or exhaustion. But when we plug into God, plug into His power, it's not just a recharge. It's an upgrade. Where weakness was, it becomes strength. Where we have hopelessness, it becomes hope. Now, I don't know about you guys, but some of us may be at that 1% battery, where your energy, your patience, or your hope is almost gone. But God sees you, and He's ready to renew your strength beyond what you can imagine. Even when we look to Jesus, who withdrew to a secluded place to pray to His Father in heaven, to renew His own strength. If the Son of God needed renewal, how much more do we need to do it? And when God renews our strength, He doesn't leave us grounded. That fresh power isn't just for our survival, it's for elevation. Isaiah says we'll mount up with wings as eagles. So let's explore what it means to rise above the chaos. When Isaiah compares those who wait on God to eagles, it's not just poetic, it's practical. Eagles don't waste their energy flapping around in a panic, but they catch the rising currents and let the wind do the heavy lifting. Imagine if we can handle life's chaos that way. Less frantic flapping, more soaring. But we're going to be honest here. Okay? Most of us are like chickens rather than eagles. Why? Because when trouble hits us, we run around flapping our wings, making noise, but not getting very far. But God invites us to do the opposite. It's to pause, trust, and let Him lift us above the mess. Now, take it from a middle school teacher. One Monday morning, the bell rings, the classroom erupts. Someone's backpacks explodes. Papers fly everywhere. Two students are exchanging a debate or arguing about who gets the last donut from the snack box. Or it could be someone's science project that starts leaking mysterious goo. And in the midst of that chaos, the teacher just stands there, holding a cup of coffee, which by now it's cold, wondering if it's too late to become a pro sumo wrestler. Now, it is tempting to fly around and trying to fix everything at once, chasing runaway papers, refereeing a donut dispute, or cleaning up that mysterious goo. But instead of panicking, they take a deep breath, they take a step back, and let God lift their perspective. Suddenly, the mess is just part of the adventure. The donut drama is just temporary. The goo is hopefully non-toxic, and that the students survive. But with a little humor and a lot of trust, the teacher soars above the chaos and then guiding the class with patience and grace. Waiting on God gives us a bird's eye view. From above, the things that seem huge on the ground, missed homework, spilled coffee, donut disputes, suddenly look a lot smaller. Now, God doesn't promise to remove every storm, but He promises to give us strength to rise above them. So when life feels like a tornado of to-do lists and unexpected messes, remember, eagles don't stress about the wind. They use it. Waiting on God isn't about doing nothing. It's about tuning in to his guidance. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just pause. Take a deep breath and ask God, what's your view on this? And the more we practice patience, we practice waiting, the more we can learn to trust. And the more we trust, the more we're lifted, sometimes with a little laughter at ourselves along the way. So next time, when life gets a little wild, picture yourself with eagle's wings. Instead of flapping and squawking, let God lift you up. You might even find yourself smiling at the chaos, knowing you're seeing things from a higher perspective. Isaiah 40:31 reminds us that God's strength isn't just for the dramatic moments of soaring, but it's also for the daily journey of running and walking. But life isn't always about soaring above the storms. Sometimes it's just about staying the course. Running when you're tired, walking when the path is long. And that's the third promise Isaiah gives us, endurance. So let's dive in to see how God empowers us not to rise, but to keep going. One of the greatest gifts God can give us is endurance. It's a gift for those who wait on him. When we look at Isaiah's words, it reminds us that the journey of faith is not just about soaring in moments of inspiration, but about running with purpose, walking faithfully, step by step, even when life is hard. Notice the progression here that Isaiah describes. We soar first, then we run, then we walk. But for soaring, God lifts us above our circumstances. He gives us vision and clarity. Running are seasons of energy and pursuit when we chase after God's calling. And walking is that daily grind, the ordinary steps of obedience when faithfulness matters most. God knows that life isn't always lived on the mountaintop. Sometimes it's just about putting that one foot in front of the other, trusting him in the routine and the struggle. There's this young woman named Sarah who trained for months to run her first marathon. She woke up early, she ran in the rain, pushed through sore muscles, and sacrificed comfort for her goal. On race day, the excitement was palpable. The first few miles felt easy. She was soaring, lifted by adrenaline and hope. But as the miles stretched on, fatigue sets in. Around mile 18, Sarah hit the wall. Her legs felt heavy, her breath was short, and doubt flooded her mind. Sarah wanted to quit. But then she remembered her training. The encouragement of her family, and the promise she made to herself. She slowed her pace, focused on each step, and kept moving forward. Spectators cheered, offering water and words of hope. Fellow runners encouraged her, "You got this, keep going." And with every step, Sarah drew on a strength deeper than her own. Then finally, she saw the finish line. Tears filled her eyes as she crossed, not because she sprinted, but because she endured. And just like Sarah, we will all face moments in life where it feels like a marathon, a long, exhausting, and maybe sometimes discouraging journey. Maybe you're in a season where you're not soaring or walking or running, but you're just walking. God sees your faithfulness, and he promises that as you wait on him, he will give you endurance for every step. In your job, when work is overwhelming, God is giving you strength to keep going. When relationships are strained, God gives grace for each conversation. And when prayers seem unanswered, God gives hope to persevere. Endurance is not just about surviving. It's about thriving in the midst of challenges. God doesn't promise an easy road, but he does promise his presence and power for the journey. So ask yourself this: where do you need renewal? What storm do you need God to lift you above? In which step do you need his strength to keep walking? All I ask is for you guys to turn your Bibles to Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. Why? Because it's a divine guarantee where renewal for your weakness, elevation above storms, endurance for every step. So don't despair. Depend on God. Don't give up. Look up to God. Remember, waiting time is never wasted when your hope is in the Lord. It brings renewal for our weakness, elevation above our storms, and endurance for every step of the journey. And while we often long for instant answers, God invites us to trust him day by day, moment by moment. God gives us grace for each trial, strength for each task, and peace for each step. And as we sing our closing song, let it be more than a melody. Let it be your prayer. A declaration that even in the waiting, God is faithful. He is near, and he is enough. So let us all stand together and sing.